think superior version to 99 Problems from Danger Mouse is a great album, mashing up Helter Skelter with Jay-Z's original. You're with Julian on the Brown Note. I just saw a little bit on Donald Trump. I haven't featured him on this show hardly at all this year, and I wish I could say that it was a deliberate policy, but it's better than that. It's the fact that since he was removed from office, I have barely thought about him. It's done wonders for my anxiety. Having someone that for 4 or 5 years was occupying social media on a daily basis was hell on earth. And it's been so wonderful and so relaxing that we just don't hear from him. Every now and again there's a story about him and his fan base pops up and you realise how nice the world is without his people in it. And they're just invisible to me. I know they're all out there, but they just don't occupy the common ground that they used to. But there have been a few articles recently about him clinging to the delusion that he won. I just want to say a little bit about that. Now, Donald Trump is mentally ill. I don't know if I've done any pieces since I've been doing videos, but I have done a lot of pieces on narcissism. Probably before the YouTube channel days, about how he's a narcissist and how most people don't understand narcissism. They think that narcissists are people who are really in love with themselves, but it's really people who probably hate themselves, who are just obsessed with themselves. And it's a far more dangerous mental illness than people give it credit for. If you're a relatively empathetic person, like I consider myself to be, if you're ever in a relationship with a narcissist, it will destroy you. And it did me. And just run. There are elements to narcissism which are incredibly dangerous to be around, especially if they're being enabled. And one of those, like a narcissist only focuses on how they feel and how other people feel about them. That's their entire world. Donald Trump has probably had this problem since he was a teenager, kind of kid at school who probably paid people to come to his birthday party, bullied other kids, hated Obama because Obama is everything that he will never be. Obama was the kid at school that everyone liked, who gets invited to the posh country clubs because people want him there, because he's classy and because they like his company. Things that Donald Trump will never have. He is the open sore for Donald Trump's failures. And when you're a narcissist, you are incredibly unable to handle any criticism at all. You will be hypercritical of the world around you and lash out of fear because he knows that he's a worthless piece of shit. And his greatest fear is being found out as such. So he will lash out at the world around him to try and get as many first punches in as possible. And all narcissists have this singular inability to take any criticism at all. They are hyper unable to handle being wrong or being criticized. And the thing about being obsessed by yourself and nothing else is that you have no natural empathy for other people. You only care about other people in a manner that it impacts you. If you do care about other people, it will be in a way where it's learned behavior. Almost like autism, where you might learn that certain things upset other people, but you don't really care. And the other is you need to create a reality that you're comfortable with. Reality to a narcissist is not what really happened. It's what they create for themselves. In any situation, if they're wrong, they create another reality where they're right because they cannot handle being wrong. So Donald Trump will never stop winning because he is singularly unable to handle an election defeat. It has to be for other reasons. It has to be other people's fault. It has to be fraud. It couldn't possibly be anything that he did. It was taken from him. Now, the other thing is that they believe their reality completely without any of the self-doubt that any of us have. They believe things wholly and completely without ever challenging it in their mind. He will always believe that he won that election. It would be a sad thing, but it's a hugely dangerous thing, because he has swept up such a large part of America along with him, and they're having an enormous impact on the voting rights of other Americans at the moment, particularly Americans that they think stole the election from them or aren't like them, because they're pretty racist. So black people, Latinos, anyone that is part of who they view as the enemy that has stolen the rightful crown from Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's not just sitting there hoovering in millions of dollars from a gullible fan base. He genuinely thinks that he's won. He will always believe that he's won, and he is mentally incapable of understanding that he could have lost. This is a hugely dangerous thing, because he won't go anywhere. He has lost millions of times throughout his life, but he has never ever owned up to anything. Not once. He's barely said an apology his whole life. So he won't go away. He won't stop thinking he's won. And unfortunately, that is having dramatic impacts on the voting rights. They've introduced hundreds and hundreds of voting right restrictions across America. We're seeing places like Texas enact some of the most egregious anti-abortion laws, 6 weeks old, even in cases of rape and incest, banning abortion. These things will keep bubbling away in the background because of Trump. He doesn't have a clue about any of it, and he doesn't care about any of it. He would happily be a left-wing president tomorrow. He doesn't stand for anything at all but winning and believing that he won. So if the people that support him winning are some of the worst people in the world, he's going to enable them with a lot of followers, and that's a really dangerous thing.